guys, All Leeds TV investigates, and we're doing something a little bit different. I've not done All Leeds TV investigates for absolutely ages. I apologise for that, guys. I've just not been able to get the video out on Wednesday. I've been a little bit busy the last couple of weeks and not been able to get the video out. I do apologise for that. Once again, we're doing another live one. I can see your comments as we're going along. Just going to go through the video in general and just see what your comments are as we go along. I think that light could do turn that light off, to be honest with you. So that is just going to annoy the shit out of me throughout this. 1 second. Right. Oh, had to do that, guys. Sorry. It was going to annoy the absolute shit out of me, that, if I was going to keep that on. But, right, anyway, so, BIELSA burnout. What is BIELSA burnout? Now, it's been something that's been spoken about ever since Marcelo Bielsa got the job. It's been a perception of Marcelo Bielsa ever since he first took the job, but his whole entire managerial career, you could say. You know, it's something that's not just restricted to Marcelo Bielsa. You know, the Jurgen Klopp's had it, Mauricio Pochettino, Diego Simeone's had elements of it. All managers that maybe play a little bit more intense, sort of off the ball. They're a bit more intense off the ball in terms of how they sort of teach their teams to play. But I think Bielsa's probably the one who gets it the most. You know, in the fact that, as far as they're concerned, yeah, Bielsa hasn't achieved anything. You know, that's not me having to go. You know, that's the media perception of Marcelo Bielsa, because he hasn't achieved the tangible trophy. He's not won the Champions League. He's not won the league title as such. But we all know how good Marcelo Bielsa is. We all know how much of a genius he is. You know, look, we've seen what happened yesterday. You know, Christophe Dugarry, Frank Leboeuf, you know, both went in on Marcelo Bielsa. And to be honest, it was disappointing to see that. I thought it was pretty disgraceful, to be honest with you, some of the comments that were made. You know, they're entitled to their opinions, but I thought, to be fair, it just got downright abusive, to be honest. I think it's quite shocking, but we've had a lot of that last couple of weeks. But a couple of points they made was that Marcelo Bielsa hasn't, you know, sort of been that much of an influence on people like Pep Guardiola and Mauricio Pochettino, which is absolute bollocks. It's absolute bollocks. You know, Pep Guardiola said himself, you know, the first person when Pep Guardiola went to go into management, the first person he went to see in 2006 was Marcelo Bielsa. October 2006, first person he went to see, Marcelo Bielsa, who gave him the advice on how to get into football management. And then what do you know? 2 years later, he's Barcelona manager. You know, and Marcelo Bielsa was linked with the Barcelona job, you know, in 2012. He is, you know, a lot gets made about he hasn't won these big trophies. Now it's Mauricio Pochettino. You know, he hasn't won the major trophy. Why does he not get the same amount of criticism as Marcelo Bielsa? You know, name me a club Marcelo Bielsa's managed where you'd expect them to win a trophy. You know, you look at Bilbao, Marseille, Lille. You know, they are all three very, very good clubs. You know, the big clubs, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're in the elite. You know, elites where you can say they've got the finance, they've got the players to seriously contend for trophies, which frustrates me a lot about how people, you know, don't really give Bielsa the praise he deserves. You know, I think he could manage any team, and I think you get success off Bielsa, in my personal opinion. I'm just going to check this is charging, guys. I'm just going to give it a quick test. I've not really seen how good the sound is. I'm just going to test that now. Okay, it doesn't sound too bad, but let us know if there's any problems with the sound, guys. As I'm sure you will do in the comments. I'm going to look at your comments in a second, but that is what the perception has been of Marcelo Bielsa. Another comment was the Bielsa spring, it gets called a lot. You know, that spring is a time when it tends to go wrong for Marcelo Bielsa. And look, of course, getting into the late winter now, and there's starting to be signs, I think certainly the second half of Norwich, that maybe there was a little bit of fatigue. I didn't believe before that burnout had anything to do with it. You know, I think throughout fatigue, I didn't believe before that burnout had anything to do with it. You know, I think throughout the season, I think against the teams that sit back a little bit, you know, like your Rotherhams, like your Stokes, like your Hull the other week when we got beaten by them, I think we struggled against them all season. I don't think it has anything to do with burnout. The only signs of seeing the burnout so far for me was that Norwich second half. When we lost our intensity, I didn't really... We were outrun at times in that second half against Norwich. We were sort of out-battled, etc, etc. We were outrun at times in that second half against Norwich. We were sort of out-battled, etc, etc. But I think that's the only sign I've seen so far. You know, that second half of the Norwich game, of course, that was our most recent 45 minutes, 90 minutes, etc, etc. But I don't believe that has been the case. But it could be. You as the season progresses. It could be. But what actually is it? What actually is burnout? I've minded there. I've not actually said what it is. The theory is burnout is that Marcelo Bielsa's teams are better in the first half of the season than they are in the second half of the season. In the second half of the season, the intense, high pressing style tires out the players basically. You start to get injuries, you start to lose form, you don't get the last minute goals we did at the start of the season because players are so tired they can't push the extra 10-20% in the last 15-20 minutes of games. Which, to be fair, we have scored a lot of late goals this season. I think, again, mentally, you go a little bit, you lose a little bit of belief. But for me, that hasn't been the case so far. But there's been little bits of evidence, in his career, that has been the case. I've seen a couple of people say it's a complete myth. For me, what frustrates me a little bit with Bielsa burnout is that at any point it felt like when we went in the badge run of form, this was going to be one of the first things that gets pulled out. Bielsa burnout. That was the first thing that's getting pulled out. And as Wainman says there, burnout is a modern myth and excuse. I have to agree. I have to agree to quite a big extent that I think it's an overused excuse. I don't think it has that much bearing as what people say. If you're playing 3 games a week compared to a team that's playing 2 games a week, I don't think it's that big a difference. I don't think it's that massive a difference. Maybe you could say with teams that play our kind of style of football, it's a little bit different, because you say we play such an intense style that we run around so much, etc., press so aggressively. We try and play on the front foot all the time, which requires high levels of energy. Let's not make any mistake about that. But I think the biggest thing that was made out of Bielsa when he first got that job, pretty much every pundit, every journalist, a lot of respected journalists, and I'm not disagreeing with their opinion at all here, their concern was, in a 46-game season, can Marcelo Bielsa create a good enough Leeds team over 46 games? Now, I don't think there's anyone out there in the world who has said Marcelo Bielsa wasn't the right guy for Leeds. No one has said that at all. But the concern was, in a 46-game season, can they avoid burnout? That was what a lot of pundits said, what a lot of the media said. I read a lot of quality articles, I have to say. I think from what top of my head, I remember Henry Winter, 442, wrote very good articles on it. Said tactically, Bielsa will revolutionise Leeds. We'll change this, and this. And to be fair, in the first 2 or 3 weeks, you saw the clear signs of that. The pre-season we set up very specifically. You'll identify his enganche early doors. You'll identify his best ball playing centre back. You'll identify who he wants his sweeper keeper to be. You'll identify who he wants his holding midfielders to be, who he wants his front three to be, who he wants his front four to be, etc., etc. You'll identify all those players very early on, and we did that. Now, of course, we don't know what's going to happen in the 46-game season, but I'm rambling on a little bit. I'm just going to go through a bit of the history of Bielsa's, because in terms of league clubs, we've not got that much data to go off. I have to be honest, we haven't got that much data. I think the most recent examples we can find, Marseille, Bilbao. And Newell's Old Boys, in the early 90s, as I spoke to Conor before going live, he said about that Newell's Old Boys in the second half of the season, they were top of the table, and they burnt out. They lost form, however which way you want to see it. But we'll go to Marseille first. Marseille. So, 2014-2015, first half of the season, Marcelo Bielsa had Marseille on 41 points after 19 games, top of the table, above the likes of PSG, above the likes of Monaco, absolutely flying. Second half of the season, 28 points from 19 games, a massive drop-off. Now, something that was made massively about that at the time was the burnout. That was one of the main, I didn't really see much of that Marseille team, I have to say. Most of my sort of judgment of that Marseille team has been off highlights. People like Dimitri Payet, people like Florian Thauvin and that lot, 2 top players for me I've watched quite a lot in the past. I've not seen loads of that Marseille team, so I can't say myself if that was because of burnout, but even if you just type in that Marseille 2014-2015 season, you will find a lot of articles on the burnouts of that season. So I'm just going to have a look here and just read out some of the stuff that was said about that Marcelo Bielsa team in 2014-15. Got the computer a little bit at a better angle this time. I can read it a little bit better. Describe it as Marseille's meltdown against PSG mirrors the Marcelo Bielsa way. That was 6th of April 2015, so that's late on in that season. They were still in a really good position. There's also that famous YouTube video of Marcelo Bielsa with 9 games to go in that season, trying to roar on his team. and I think it was something different to the burnout situation, but it's relevant. You know, it is relevant at the end of the day. Again, another article there saying, taking a look at this year's Bielsa burnout. Again, April 2015, Bielsa Springs comes up a lot. Can Leeds avoid burning out under the brilliant intensity of Bielsa? It's a lot. That's what the main thing is with Marcelo Bielsa. What the main, I think, what maybe the elite teams, maybe why Marcelo Bielsa hasn't got to the level he deserves to be at in terms of tactically, is possibly because the big teams have that concern about burnout and that lot. But you look at that Marseille season now. As much as I've said, 29 points, 28 points from the second half of the season, which is pretty poor. There's something else to notice in that Marseille 14-15 season. Why maybe it isn't quite burnout, which is the issue. Why that might be not the reason that season went wrong in particular. So look at the Marseille season that year. They actually finished that season with the last 4 games. They actually dropped down and then dropped back up again. A lot of games were draws, and most of the defeats tend to be like 1 goal and that lot. And they're playing some top teams late on in that season. Now, if your team's burnt out, you'd think they wouldn't finish the season that well. You know, you'd think that. You'd say they completely and utterly collapsed. But Marseille, in truth, just had that bad spring. But what there is to notice as well, in that sort of bad spring, it's just so many games. You know, they're playing so many games in that sort of period. But still, they finished the season with 4 wins in a row. Can you say it was complete burnout? They actually rescued their season. You know, they went from finishing 5th to 4th. They made the Champions League, etc., etc. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. But I'm just going to read the comments anyway. So let's have a look at your comments. Go right to the top. Jorge Castillo says, myth pushed by the media. I do think it has been pushed a little bit by the media. I just think it's that, as Wainman said, it's that modern day excuse. You know, it's not a case of tactics are being found out. And I just think that is part of it as well. I just think it's more that teams, when you start the season against Marcelo Bielsa, you know, I don't think any team in the Championship could suss out, you know, what was going on in that lot. Just in the comments saying, what's the cereal in the background? I was thinking, Jesus Christ, I didn't even spot that. It is curiously cinnamon. I can confirm. I didn't even discover that, to be honest. How have I done this video without? I don't know. I just saw that in the comments. But yeah, I can confirm that it's curiously cinnamon. Absolutely delicious stuff. And limited edition as well. Always a bonus. So how the fuck? Let's just spot that. But anyway, but yeah, let's go through the comments. That's like one of the first comments I spotted. Darren Walker says, myth mates, absolute rubbish. And I think, yeah, I think it does feel like that. I don't think it can entirely be put down to burnout. I think a certain extent of it as well is teams sussing out, you know, understanding Marcelo Bielsa's system as the season progresses. You know, look at the start of the season. You know, the way we started, 8 first 8 games, won 5 of them, drew 3, and probably you could say could have quite easily won all 8 games. When we came to Birmingham, and Birmingham I felt did leave a bit of a blueprint of how to beat us. You know, playing on that counter attack, sitting in a little bit, playing a bit tighter, restricting the spaces for us to attack, trying to stop Saiz Phillips from dictating the game. And I think it gave, you know, the rest of the league something to build on from then. And then you look at Blackburn. Blackburn beat us 2-1. They had that set piece situation. The way to attack was on set pieces. Take out the rest of the team. Take out, you know, Janssen, Cooper, our 2 best headers of the ball, and you score goals. Again, now with those defeats down to burnout. You look at West Brom. Again, sit in a little bit and hit us on the counter. And that's what the most teams have done to beat us. Hull, Forest, Stoke definitely. Norwich to a certain extent, sit in a little bit and counter Leeds, and you can create opportunities. It has nothing to do with burnout. It's just a tactical weakness of Marcelo Bielsa's system, and absolutely every manager has a tactical weakness. Look at Pep Guardiola; his sides have a tactical weakness against teams that press high up the pitch. You know, because he plays at such a high line. You know, that's not a slight on Marcelo Bielsa. It's impossible to have a team that's perfect in every single way. And that's maybe to a certain extent why it's listed as being, burnout, but really it's more tactical than it just being purely being tired and that lot. Tiger Steeler said, I've always seen investigates, as always to be, got a sponsorship with a cereal brand. I honestly don't know how I've not discovered that. I've been looking at this for like literally 15 minutes and I've not even spotted all the security cinnamon boxes in the background there. Couple of comments regarding Saturday as well. Zero Cool says needs to drop Ayling, Forshaw and Harrison. I would personally certainly agree with Forshaw and Harrison. I love Adam Forshaw. There's been some good comments made about Adam Forshaw. Best passer in the league statistically. Look, I know he's not the most aggressive passer of the ball, but he's still the best passer of the ball in the league, which means he keeps the ball well. But yeah, I mean, it's and then you look at Harrison. I think I just don't think he's done enough this season at all to just survive playing. Even when he was playing well, to a certain extent, September, maybe early January, I still didn't think he was doing enough to justify starting games for Leeds. That's just my personal opinion on that. Ayling, I think it's a little bit more difficult. I think Ayling, you get the height on set pieces. That's a massive thing for me. Height on set pieces. If you look at Borough, we know what's going to happen there. We're launching the ball forward. Tony Pulis' team, we're going to launch the ball forward and try and win that ball high up the pitch. And try and win the headers, etc., etc. We know that's going to be the case. So maybe that would say Ayling does suit it a little bit better. But going forward, I certainly would prefer Shackleton at the minute. I think Shackleton looks a little bit more seamless. Even when Ayling was at his best, I wouldn't have said he was the best going forward, etc., etc. But that's just personal opinion. But I certainly think Forshaw, Harrison, players you could drop out of that team quite easily for me. Certainly on current form, etc. Untitled, send Ayling on a free to FC Halifax. I think that's a bit of an exaggeration there, to be honest. I know. Look, Luke Ayling has been awful. If we're being honest, I love Luke Ayling, but he's been awful. Luke Ayling will say himself he's been awful the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, etc., etc. But I still back him. I still back him every day of the week. I still think he's going to come back into form. I was really disappointed with his performance against Norwich, and maybe I was a little bit OTT. With my review, I did get a bit ranty on that one. I did lose my head a little bit, but I was just disappointed with Luke Ayling's performance. Just felt there's certain things that he should have been judging better. But I still back Luke Ayling. I still love Luke Ayling. Would have necessarily start him. Would have given some time on the bench. I'd possibly look at that option. Certainly if the performances don't pick up quickly. We've got loads of games coming up as well to avoid that BIELSA burnout. It's a lot of midweek games. QPR one's been. As Football United says, Oscar, I think you're the only one backing Ayling right now. I'll back him all day long. I love Luke Ayling, to be honest. But yeah, I'm concerned by Luke Ayling's form. Do not get me wrong, I'm concerned by Luke Ayling's form. But we've seen from Luke Ayling that he can be a top fullback at this level. But he's got to get himself back into form. There's no room for sentiment at the end of the day. We still want to achieve promotion, we still want to get in that top 6, etc., etc., whichever way you're looking at it, whichever side of the fence you're on, positivity-wise. But there's no room for sentiment. We've got to go with what we think is best to win us games, not who we like the most or who we want to get back into form, etc., etc. Lovely comment as well off Andy, LUFC, Fusco, Evening Oscar and everyone else watching. Love the channel and regular viewer. Keep up the good work and dedication to Joe and Conor, plus cardio and behind the scenes. All these aren't we, MOT. Thanks so much for that, Andy, mate. I love it. We do love those comments, especially when we get ones from Argentina, etc., etc., Chile, because the interest BIELSA generates to this club, etc., and it has generated to the channel as well. And we love that. It does leave us absolutely buzzing, especially at the start of the season when we saw those comments coming in. We realised how big this guy is, how massive he is to this football club. Quite a lot of nice comments tonight, guys. I've got to say thanks very much. Marcus Beeger says, love the investigations, you rock. Thanks very much, mate. I'm not sure about that last bit, but I'll take it all day long. Andrew O'Connor, nothing wrong with Leeds that a bowl of Cheerios can't sort out. I wish it was Cheerios, mate, but it's curiously cinnamon. I'm not sure how many calories is in that. I don't really want to know, to be honest, either, but yeah, it's not really great. So, any other comments? And Ethan Carden, who is a vlogger for Leeds as well, make sure you check him out, has commented as well, saying little worries about how we haven't played our best defenders on paper since August. Now, that's been something that's very clear. Our first choice back four, if you want to call it our first choice back four, of Ayling, Janssen, Cooper, Douglas, we've not been able to play those four together since I think it was Sheffield Wednesday away in towards the end of September. That is absolutely ages ago. It was over 4 months ago. Obviously, when Douglas got injured, Ayling was fit. When Ayling got injured, Douglas was fit, etc., etc. So it didn't work out from that point of view. But yeah, we've not been able to play it together for ages. In fact, if you say our best back five, we've not been able to play those together, including Kassir as well. We've not been able to play that together at all either. That is a concern. I think certainly in terms of defending the wide positions, I love having a unit defensively. I think at the start of the season, we were keeping everything tight. We were doing so well. I think even up until like sort of mid-December, I thought we were doing fine defensively. Just the last couple of weeks, we've struggled. Defending the wide positions, not tracking our midfield runners, making little silly mistakes, etc., etc. And it's really built up now. I think it's 34 goals we're letting in 30 games. That's too much. That's far too many goals. You need to be looking at least sort of like a goal a game at the absolute most. To achieve top two, you've got to have some attacking talent to be able to go up and concede that many goals. That's all I'm going to say. I believe Carl Bartley has just scored for West Brom in the game against Brighton. Just going to have a quick look at that. Nothing's come through here yet, but I'll take your word for it, guys. But yeah, it's City are winning at Everton as well. Barcelona have equalised against Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey too. With 10 minutes to go on that 1-1 semi-final, massive game. But yeah, that's my feeling on that anyway. In terms of getting the back four together, it's so crucial. I hope we do get those together towards the end of the season. But yeah. Marcus Speaker has made another comment as well. Oscar, just finished listening to Inside Ellen Road podcast. Absolutely superb podcast, by the way. Make sure you check it out. They made an interview with the chief medic and talk about burnout. He said first season always has some burnouts in players as he adapts. Now that's a big thing as well. I think certain players are still adapting to the system. Certain players might be pushing themselves too hard. But I think they've got to take responsibility for that themselves. At the end of the day, they've got to adapt themselves. It's not BIELSA who can do that. I think it's got to be the players who do that, in my personal opinion. But that's a very fair point. But yeah, I think that's a very fair point. Wayne Mace actually makes a very relevant comment as well. Watched the Revy side when only one sub used and very small squads. Did they burn out? No. And it's got to be a point as well that teams were a lot less fit now. There was a lot less intensity in the training too. And they weren't really built to last the 90 minutes like they are now. So that, it's so impressive when you look back in the day. Our teams were able to do that. Not least the Revy team. We played like 60, 70 games a season. Pretty much 11 of the... we only had a squad of 13, 14 in the absolute most at the time. For actual first team quality players. Most of them were playing 60, 70 games a season and then going on to play a World Cup or European Championships. It's absolutely crazy when you think about it now. So, it's absolutely incredible, really. And then you see people complaining about burnout, and it does make you sort of... It is a bit cringeworthy, isn't it? And you see teams complaining about it. Yeah, but look, it's one of those things. I guess the game has changed a bit since then, but it's a very good point. Teams in the past have been successful even with just one sub available. A couple of comments about Bamford and Roof. Interesting one. It's a really interesting debate, isn't it? For me, Bamford all day long in the centre forwards role. I would consider playing Roof just behind him. I really liked the look of that Roof-Bamford partnership. Roof playing a bit deeper. And then you can swap him as well, because Bamford, let's not forget, probably had his best season at this level, playing in behind the striker as a number 10 in effect. So that is an option too, swapping them around. But for me, I'd like to see both play, if possible. I know he's been a little bit out of form, as Shane Shanks says there. He has been playing bad the last couple of weeks, so that's a perfectly fair point for me. Yeah, he's definitely not been on it like he was at the start of the season. But yeah, I still think he's a top player. Gabriel Jesus has just scored for City as well to make it 2-0. Just give you a bit of a score update as we go along. yes, the City have won 2-0 there, and they've actually gone top of the table for the time being. Obviously played a game more than Liverpool, but that is a really interesting title race, isn't it? That is really, really interesting. Again, I'll just say between two Bielsa Bielsa idols to an extent, certainly Guardiola. Klopp based a lot of his off the ball work on what Marcelo Bielsa did. And Claudio has just said as well, Bamford is averaging a goal every 65 minutes. A couple of comments about Liverpool bottling it again. I don't think there's been two teams in the last 15 years who have bottled it as much as ourselves and Liverpool. I mean, look at how many times we've bottled it. 2006 under Kevin Blackwell. To an extent, you could say maybe 2010-11. I think that's would be a little bit harsh because we weren't able to sign the players we wanted to in January of that window. From what I can remember. Remember the Warnock season, we bottled that as well. We had a decent position in the playoffs around December. The Gary Monk season was an absolute ridiculous bottling. Behind McDermott's season, we completely nutty bottled the last 2 months of the season and almost went down. Last season, you could go back to it, and then Liverpool, how many times they bottled chances to win the league? I don't think there's been two teams who have bottled it as much as ourselves and Liverpool over the last 15 years or so. But yeah, that's just a side point that, I hope it's not repeating itself again. Because I'll be honest, though, I do really like Jurgen Klopp. I would like to see him win the trophy. That's just purely from a outside looking in. But I'm not really that fussed. Just want the team that plays the best football to win the league. But I just want to see a good title race from that outside of looking in. But let's just move on from that anyway. But yeah, good to see your comments here, guys. No one's really saying that that burnout's playing a part, which is good to see. I think Marseille, obviously, maybe there was an element of burnout. There's a lot of articles on it, but they still finished that season strongly, 4 wins in a row. If there's burnout, you'd think it'd be completely, the whole team just lose energy and they can't get themselves back into form. I think that's very telling. Winning those last 4 games of the season at Bielsa, he's not necessarily just a first half of the season manager and things go wrong afterwards. But yeah, I think Bilbao's the next one I want to look at as well. The history of Bilbao. Now the interesting thing here is that I'm just going to check the charge here. I think we have slightly 1 second. Bilbao. You look at that situation. Managed them from 2011 to 2013, so 2 full seasons he had at Bilbao. In both seasons, Bilbao picked up more points in the second half of the season than the first half of the season. And don't forget, in that first season, Bilbao made the Copa del Rey final and Europa League final. The only reason they didn't win by the trophy was because of a massive injury crisis. Now, okay, well, that is a side point. There's a different factor to that. A lot has been made of that injury crisis that season. But the fact is, they improved in the second half of the seasons and made finals in both seasons. And you've got to say, they've come up against 2 top teams. Madrid and the Europa League final, and Barcelona and the Copa del Rey final again. Incredible achievement of Marcelo Bielsa, but proof that maybe the burnout is not much theory to it as when they first thought. The fact is the fact. They improved in the second half of the season, Bilbao. And you look at recent data in that lot, that's what we've got to base it on. Obviously Marseille, you could say there's a bit of a burnout. They didn't improve as the season went along, but Bilbao, 2 seasons in a row, they improved as the season went along. So, all is not lost. All is not lost. That points a bit more to the myth side of things. Of course, I think Ander Herrera it was who said a lot about the amount they trained, the intensity of the training, they picked up injuries. Okay, that's a different point, but they still improved as the season went along. Further, maybe going against the theory, etc., etc. But yeah, for me, obviously look at his major tournaments as well. Chile, managing Argentina, in the major tournaments in the last 15 years or so. Certainly look at Chile. I remember the World Cup quite well, 2010, South Africa, and Johan Capdevila said that they hadn't had the bigger test than that. Spain, that great Spain team, Johan Capdevila was left back in that team. They said in the 4 years of total domination, in 2008 2012, they didn't play a team more intense than that Chile team. So that points to, the Chile team, half the squad will have been playing full league seasons and that lot, but Bielsa still managed to get them prepared in horrendous conditions. At the time in South Africa, I remember the humidity was horrendous from what I can remember. I might be wrong on that, but I just remember it was ridiculously warm that summer and that lot. And yeah, he got them there. He put put in some superb performances in that World Cup. They almost got a result against Spain. We pushed them unbelievably hard. I think they're the only team. I think they're only one of the very few teams that actually scored against Spain at major tournaments during that period. That shows he can do it. That shows he can still get, even if the team's not 100% on it fitness-wise, he can still get a performance out of them. He beat Switzerland, I think, in that run as well. He got them out of a really tough group. Argentina got them all the way to the Copa America final, which they lost in the last second against one of the best Brazil teams we've ever seen. Let's point out, a lot of people say burnout. I say bad luck. I really do say bad luck as well. I think it's incredible Marcelo Bielsa hasn't won the major trophy. I think he's had a lot of opportunities, but I think bad luck plays a part as well. I'm not going to be naive enough to say that the intense training, the intensity in matches, it's not going to have effects on us as the season progresses. It's natural, but I don't think that can be highlighted as the sole reason. I don't think we can say now that, okay, it's a risk in April, May, we could completely and utterly lose fitness. We could completely and utterly lose our energy. You can't just say, okay, we're going to, I tell you what, we're just going to play at 80% now for another 2 months. We can't do that. What's got us to the top of the table is the intensity we train at. There's better teams in this league than us in terms of quality on the pitch. That's not me having to go at our team. We've got some quality players in this team. But you look at West Brom. Look at that team West Brom have put out tonight. And that's their second choice 11. Look, I'll even read it out for you. It's 1-1 actually that game now. But yeah, you look at people like Carl Barton, who's starting from tonight, second choice. Drake Livermore, second choice. Wes Houlihan, second choice. Hal Robson-Kanu, second choice. We've got Hegazi on the bench, Kieran Gibbs on the bench. There is a lot of rotation in the team. We've got a lot of good young players too. That's the thing. You can't just say now that we've got to the top of the table, there's a risk of us bottoming it, that we go against what's got us to that top of the table. That's just my personal opinion on it. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. This is no criticism from Marcelo Bielsa. For me, I'm leaning more towards myth than the fact that that Burnout hasn't any part to play. I'm not saying I'm not worried about that, but I think if Leeds do go on a poor run, I think certain aspects will be more down to it than that. I think it'll be more down to the players mentally, getting nervous in this situation. I think certainly in 2016-17 under Gary Monk, I think it was nerves more than anything. I think they looked nervous every time they played at home later on that season. And that's my opinion on that. I certainly think that 16-17 season, I think the players looked incredibly nervous at home second half of the season. And I think maybe there's an element of nerves now, but I think there's another bit as well with the 4-1-4-1. I think it's being sussed out. No, sussed out's over the top. Sussed out is over the top. I think teams that can defend find it easy to sort of restrict the spaces. I certainly think Stoke, they found a way to restrict the space. We've just got to find a way around that. I think Izzy Brown coming back in, Patrick Bamford being available. And look, I'm not naive enough to say we're not going to go on another poor run of form or we're going to turn this around straight away. We are in a little bit of danger at the minute. Let's not make any mistake about it. It's 4 defeats out of 6. I know we're second in the table, but we've got certain elements that we need to look at. We need to look defensively at certain things. We need to say, is Luke Hayden going to get back into form quickly enough? Have we got to bring Barry Douglas back in at left back? For me, we do have to bring Barry Douglas in at left back. I've been saying that for weeks now. I want to see Barry Douglas back in that left back spot. A couple of nice comments about the Conservatory as well. I appreciate that very much. Hashtag Oscars Conservatory. I think all things Leeds said Ed there. But yeah, that's the hashtag tonight. But yeah, that's my opinion on it, guys. I'm going to go back to your comments now. But you look at the Marseille time, the Bilbao time. Okay, Marseille, you can argue. It was Burnout. Bilbao, I'm not sure. I don't think you can say it was that. Obviously the training maybe contributed to injuries, but they still got themselves to a Europa League final. They still got themselves to the Copa del Rey final. Bielsa is absolutely idolised, in both Bilbao and Marseille. If you gave both teams a chance to get Marcelo Bielsa back, they would both take it in a heartbeat. If you gave Chile a chance to get Marcelo Bielsa back, they'd take it in a heartbeat. I think if you gave Argentina a chance to get Bielsa back, they'd take it in a heartbeat. That has to say something. That does have to say something about Marcelo Bielsa. That it's so much more than just the results. It's the whole style of football, the whole way he manages the football club, the way he makes the football club feel as well. And another thing what I do want to touch on tonight is Marcelo Bielsa in the media. I think the perception that a lot of people have of Marcelo Bielsa, that that he's a cheat, etc., etc., that he tries to spy, etc. But something that doesn't get spoken about enough, which really does piss me off, is that how many times have you heard Marcelo Bielsa this season complain about a referee, complain about another player time wasting, or another player trying to injure one of our players, etc., etc. You know, all the shit house tactics and that lot. Have you ever heard Marcelo Bielsa complain about that? No, you don't. Look, I'm going to read something he said after that Brentford game, which absolutely maybe idolised the man twice as much. I'm just going to go to that game now. Marcelo Bielsa, after that game, was absolutely superb for me. Look, we know Janssen had the outburst, but Marcelo Bielsa won't have that at all. I mentioned before about the Marseille video, about Marcelo Bielsa. I've been saying Marcelo Bielsa too much. I'm just going to say Bielsa now. About Bielsa saying, forget about the injustices, just focus on your own job and it would look after itself, was the main message of that video. I know it hurt. I think his first words were, I know it hurts, but forget about the injustices. He is not interested in that. He's always interested in is what the team can do to affect things. He doesn't want to piss around, spending 20 minutes moaning about a referee. That's not his interest. And for me, I don't think that gets enough praise. Has anyone said anything about that? Has anyone given him praise for that? How many times have you heard Frank Lampard moan about referees this season? Frank Lampard's been sent off at Rotherham for running halfway down the touchline to complain about a decision. Okay, it wasn't the right decision at the time, but that's poor. You look at that. But yeah, how it just doesn't get enough praise for me. But I'm just going to read what Marcelo Bielsa said after that game against Brentford. He said, it was a fair result. We could have lost the game or won the game, but it wouldn't be fair to say we were close to winning the game, despite the decisions that went against us that day, has to be said. When we have the possibility to look at the video and make your own opinion, my opinion on the penalty is useless. It's not important. We can't concede football thinking the referee will not make a mistake. If Pontus is playing his best football, it's not because I'm the head coach. We can say for sure he's playing at a high level. That was something else. But that key bit was in the middle of that video. Of that speech even. He said we can't concede football thinking the referee will not make a mistake. Now, if you can explain to me how the media can pick on someone who's been as honest as that, who has 100% respect for the referees, will not refuse to criticise the referee, even when there was some of the worst decisions I've seen in a Leeds game in that particular game. That's incredible for me. That is incredible. I just don't think that gets enough praise. I certainly don't think, look, people have got their opinions on Spygate. That's been and gone. But I just don't think he gets the treatment, the respect he deserves in this country. I just don't think he does. That's my opinion on that. But more for all other teams. We're seeing something special at Leeds at the minute, and we know we're seeing something special at Leeds at the minute. And from the first minute, we're seeing something special. The whole change of mentality at the football club. But that, it's just something I wanted to touch on as well. I just don't think. I don't think people respect Marcelo Bielsa enough, but that's just my personal view anyway. But make sure you let us know in the comments on that. I'm just going to go back to your comments. I'm going to wrap this up, guys. A couple of people saying Middlesbrough is a must-win now. I think we are to an extent getting to that stage of the season where it's important not to lose games, definitely. I think if we lost to Borough, there would be a concern. That would be 5 defeats out of 7. And you start to be questioning things after that. But you would be concerned about that, if we don't win that game. But I wouldn't quite say Middlesbrough's a must-win. We've got to start looking at sort of blocks of 5 games. Something Conor wanted me to touch on. Middlesbrough, Swansea, Bolton, QPR, West Brom. We've got to look at that block of 5 games. We've got 2 games, massive games against Borough and West Brom. 2 teams are well up there. 2 teams that you can fancy to push for the top 2 potentially. Certainly West Brom. One's at home, one's away. Then you've got Bolton, who are massively struggling. And then QPR and Swansea who are mid-table. That is pretty much what you can expect the block of 5 games to be between now and the end of the season. You look at that block of 5 games, you've got to be looking at, to get promoted, I think you want to win the Swansea game, you want to win the Bolton game, you want to at least get something from the QPR game, and you want to get something from the West Brom Middlesbrough game. So you've got to look at a minimum of 8 or 9 points from that block of 5 games. That's as far as I see it. If we pick up anything less, we're probably going to be looking, after those 5 games, we're going to be down to 3rd or 4th. I think it's getting that tight at this moment in time. Obviously, a lot depends on what happens in those games in hand, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. So, any other comments? As North Alison White said, start of the season we would take the playoffs. That's why I'm a bit relaxed about this situation at the minute. I'm just enjoying the ride myself. Obviously at times it's getting a bit nervy, but look, this is better than mid-table. The minute the debate we are having is better than mid-table, isn't it? The Borden. I think yesterday was a year to the day when Paul Heckingbottom got the job. In fact, sorry, I think today's a year to the day when Paul Heckingbottom got the job. You look at where we were then compared to where we are now. It's absolutely incredible, isn't it? Really, the way we have progressed. But yeah, that's why we've got to enjoy this in a minute. We've got to enjoy people like Marcelo Bielsa while they were at this football club. The way they've built this club, the way they've rebuilt things. As North Alton White says there, West Brom extra time burnout. I love that all day long, and that was massive that yesterday as well. Newport beating Borough. You certainly think for Borough. I certainly heard rumours about Mo Bezic, Adam Clayton, Rudy Gustede, all disrespecting the fans. I think some of them were laughing at the fans even, I think I read. And you think, that's really a bad distraction to have to go into that game. But look, it's going to be a massive game that. If you offer me a point now, I'd probably take a point. On the basis that we pick up maximum points from our home games, I wouldn't be too fussed with points at Borough. It'd be a good result, let's be honest. Borough have got some quality players, that would not be a bad result. But I think it's a game we can win. If we get our attacking players at the absolute best and they can move that defence around the Boroughs, I think we can win that game. But yeah, that's much my opinion on it. Any other comments? If Zero Cool says second place, not bad to say not bad to say we have played most of the season with the same players from last season. Something Conor's touched on as well. That same squad of players, other than probably about 4, Douglas, Click, which I think was Casilla and Bamford, it's pretty much the same team as last season. But let's just point out something. Bamford, Casilla, we've hardly seen. We've barely seen either of them play, or they've hardly been involved. So it's really 2 players different. Even then, Douglas has been out pretty much a third of the season. So yeah, I mean that's clear for everyone to see too. It's pretty much the same team that finished 13th last season. Don't get me wrong, last season was a disgrace, to be honest with you. In terms of on the pitch, should have done loads better, but it's still massive progress, isn't it? Okay. Stephen Darcy says, surely a player will become conditioned to the training over time, and then 8 months into the regime, burnout is just a myth. Again, that's a very good point too. They're getting used to how the standards they need to be at fitness-wise. Obviously different managers have different requirements, but Bielsa, he wants maximum. You'll weigh the players every day pretty much. You'll keep them on strict training schedules, and yeah, you'll get the absolute maximum out of them. Zero Cool also says Norwich will bottle it. That's a big call. That to be honest, I don't agree with that. I certainly think Norwich. I look at them, and you look at the form they've been in since they got beat by us. I think it's 2 defeats they've had since August. I don't think they lost an away game. Pretty incredible stuff. And I think they're on more points a game since that game we beat them 3-0 than Wolves were last season. I think they certainly remind me quite a lot of Wolves last season. Look at the 2 wingers, Buendia, Hernandez, both direct. Both get goals, both make things happen. Stiepermann's been a revelation in the 10 role. Pukki's absolutely incredible up top. And they got a nice little balance to him. Vrancic as well. And a good back 4. Max Aarons, Jamal Lewis really stood out, I felt, on Saturday in the full-back positions. But yeah. I mean, it's. I think Norwich, to be honest, I think will be top 2. That's just my personal opinion. But it won't be. It's the league. It's what the league is, isn't it? You have teams that. Lose form dramatically. It can happen. It can happen. It's do you see one there? So just sometimes the comments just completely fly back off the screen. I did see. Hold on, there we go. Ben Show says that Buendia was class for Norwich. We were linked with him last season as well. Let us know, guys, if there's anything wrong with the sound. I'm just going to test it again. That seems okay to me. I just saw a comment off Mickey Moo, who has been a regular commenter on the videos, saying that the sound doesn't sound too great, and the pixelation is down to, it's more down to the live videos. You know, it's for some reason I'm not sure. Whenever we go live, sometimes the quality isn't as good. I do apologise for that. It do have to work quite hard on the lighting. It probably doesn't look great, but it works better than where I do currently film from. But yeah, I hope it's not too bad, guys. The sound doesn't sound too bad. I'm hoping that's not the case. But yeah, let us know if there's any comments anyway. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to wrap it up, guys. Super Leeds, what's Oscar got next to that plant? It's the Curry cinnamon box, mate. We did this. We established it that I decided to keep that on show during this video. I'm getting asked to stop worrying now. I'm going to stop going on about the sound and that lot. You probably don't want to hear me anyway, so let's carry on. Right. A couple of comments about Borough not being the draw, not being the end of the world. That's off DV4 LUFC 77 123. But yeah, I have to say, it would not be a disaster. That would stop the rot to an extent. A couple of comments about Paul Heckingbottom, like Football United. Anything else? Could finish off with. As Football United says, we've done all the hard work now. It's just about getting to the finishing stage of the season and just managing to maintain that consistency. Yeah, I certainly agree with that. Yeah, I had to agree with that. And then Ollie Davis, just to finish off, what cereal next video, Oscar? I'm gonna do that again. Okay, we're gonna do that again. Yeah, I might have a little bit of a poll on that. Yeah, what cereal we're gonna do next time. Yeah, I'm thinking between maybe Wheatabix Minis, possibly Cheerios. Might even have to throw Cookie Crisp into the equation too. But anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed. So just one more off DV for LUFC 123. We've won 7 in a row. It was quality. I think every team will have a buzz run. We're out on that 7-game winning run after we lost a massive game against West Brom when we lost 4-1. We're on that 7-game winning run. But hopefully we'll get that same again. Golden Nuggets Frosties has been requested. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to stop rambling. Make sure to let us know in the comments down below. Is BIELSA burnout a myth or a genuine concern? I don't think there is a certain question on that, but I think there's evidence for both sides. That's my personal opinion on things. I might revisit this subject as we get on later on in the season, maybe explaining why it has or why it hasn't happened as we get along further on in the season. I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to see you later on. Previews for Borough Leeds will be out tomorrow. Conor, Joe, and myself. I'm hoping to get mine out for tomorrow. So I'll see you later, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you later.